r/ask Reddit. What's gotten worse over the years? Channels like the History Channel, Discovery, etc. Reality TV just ruined them. History Channel especially. Modern Marvels was a great show and they used to have a lot of documentaries. Now none of it even has to do with, history. Modern Marvels is the greatest seasonal documentary series ever. Still watch them on YouTube. Of the educational channels, the first to fall was TLC with Trading Spaces. Then Animal Planet went reality TV heavy with Animal Cops and that Latino dog guy. Next with Discovery Channel. Next was History Channel and now it is all crap. And last to go, and it was fairly recent, was the Science Channel. Yes, it still has some good stuff on it, but their seasonal specials like Pumpkin Chunkin' are going to kill that channel. Water guns. The Super Soakers produced in the mid-90s to early 2000s were so much fun and they actually packed a decent punch. Specifically the CPS, Constant Pressure System, line. Ever since the brand was bought out by Hasbro, and probably in response to concerned parents who were worried about their kids injuring each other with them. The water guns produced today are a shadow of what they used to be. It slightly saddens me that the kids of today will never get to experience anything like the epic water wars I used to spend my summers engaging in. The electronic ones are the worst. What's a water gun fight without having to pump the thing until your arm feels like it's going to fall off? All that pumping water guns prepared my forearm for my teenage years. Song variety on radio stations. The amount of repetition is exhausting. It's a fact that if you want to hear Welcome to the Jungle, all you gotta do is simply tune to your local rock station and wait. No need to ever purchase the song. You'll always hear it in the next 15 minutes. Holy crap, you aren't kidding. Meanwhile, say, Cheap Trick's number 2 or number 3 most popular song will never get played. People texting and driving is out of control. I'm always shocked at the number of people I see doing this. I've told my kids that if they are ever in a car and someone is doing this, tell them to stop or to pull over and let them out. They can call me, or even call the police if they feel unsafe. I've also seen some of their friends' parents texting and driving when I've passed them on the road, and my kids are never allowed to get into a vehicle with those families. I don't understand what's so damn important that people are willing to put their lives, as well as the lives of others, at risk. It's disgusting. Edit. Wow. So many responses. I'm glad there is a discussion happening. And to see that so many people realize how dangerous texting and driving is. I also hope that maybe this will encourage people who do text and drive to stop doing it. It's not worth risking your life. And thank you for the gold as well. I can't have my phone anywhere near me when I'm driving because people expect everyone to be constantly available nowadays, so if I don't respond to a text immediately it'll keep going off, and if I can hear or feel it buzzing it still stresses me out. Too much to completely focus on the road. The amount of advertisement. It's everywhere and getting worse. Everywhere I look, listen, watch, and believe me, it's gonna get worse. My wife and I got a hotel the other day and so we were watching TV, and I was hella stoked that LOTR was on. But I couldn't ducking watch it cause there were commercials. It felt like every 5 minutes. Same commercials every break. And it felt like the commercials were on longer than the movie. Ducking ridiculous. How does that even work? Do they really fill up a 5-hour slot for the movie plus ads? My belief that $60 can buy a full video game. This one is the worst. I really do enjoy getting new content for the same game. But I hate looking at new games going great that's going to total over $100 in a couple years. I think that's the worst part, is the DLC content doesn't come out for months after the game does. So by the time I see it I've already played the game to death and I'm over it. Doesn't that just cancel out then? Buy the game. Play the game. Be done with the game having not added DLC? Seems to me that having big chunks of additional content for the game coming out months later is more like getting the option to buy another game, a sequel effectively. Of course that presumes well done DLC. The initial game was a proper complete game experience on its own, and the DLC adds an appropriate amount of new content as an expansion pack. The pain in my back, and in my upper shoulders, and butt. Disney Channel. This. So much teen drama, not even good scripts and acting, and less Mickey Mouse. Original. Not to mention, but why do all of the effing actors need to be musical artists? Exily seem a huge Disney buff. Phineas and Ferb was good while it lasted. Sigh. Adults acting like 3-year-olds. Tantrum throwing over minor crap. I am 29, and the amount of people I see, including ones I know and went to school with, having meltdowns that would make my toddler son a paragon of maturity is too damn high. Just a couple of weeks ago a friend of mine had a meltdown, an actual, legitimate meltdown, complete with flailing and tears, over a goddamn football game. Last week I had lunch with a co-worker and she had a full-on meltdown over sushi, I think. Not really sure, but she started screaming and punching herself in the head. She's 32. I nope the hell out of there. Privacy. Ouch. Specifically, the intrusive, almost barbaric shit people will put up for some ephemeral illusion of safety or for their daily tech fix. The Walking Dead. I don't even know why I'm bothering at this point. I have some serious sunken cost fallacy invested into this show. I've come this far. Might as well keep watching. Ugh. George Romero was invited to direct an episode of The Walking Dead, but he refused and called TWD a soap opera. Ugh, thank you for saying this. So far this season is absolutely uninteresting. I just stopped watching and it feels freeing. Banks. It used to be you put money in a bank and it earned interest. There weren't fees at all. You took it out as often as you needed. There were no transaction fees. The bank earned its money by investing your money conservatively and giving you a cut in the form of interest. You may want to look into a credit union. Was telling my mom the other day to switch her accounts around because her bank charges $36 for any overdraft and then $7 a day after that. The kicker is she works for the mortgage part of the bank, but she doesn't get any sort of overdraft protection or any kind of perk for working for them. She's been laid off by them once though, and they're having another round this year. The amount of arguing online. No, it hasn't. Yes, it has. Communication and privacy. Social media has made it worse. You're practically in contact everywhere via your phones. You didn't have reply to messages immediately without someone thinking you hate or are ignoring them. FFS, I'll get back to you when I get back to you. I don't reply to people right away unless it's the girl I like or work. And even then, when I'm at work I have it put away half the time since I'm in patient rooms quite often. It's a nice freedom not replying right away, and people knowing that it's just how you work. Quality of clothing. I feel like $10-15 used to get you a decently made shirt, and nowadays with women's clothing, you have to layer or the blouses will be see-through. I hate shopping. Fabric is so much thinner nowadays. I like light clothing, but the quality is just so low that things aren't made to last at all. I hate the fact that it's normal to save up for basics. The idea of saving up money for pants that'll last longer than a few years just feels so mildly depressing. The quality of consumer goods, vacuums, TVs, laptops, fridges etc. We have become a throwaway society. I agree. Sent from my iPhone 10. IDK about vacuums or fridges, but TVs and laptops have more economically priced options than before that can't be expected to be at the level of flagship products. I bought a 2016 model Samsung 4K TV, new, at the turn of 2017. Without a doubt the highest quality TV I've owned. It's 55 inches, and I got it for $550. The last one was a 48 inches 1080p Sony for $1,800 8 years ago, and that was a sale price. The $300 HP laptops are poo-poo and perform poorly, but it's only $300. When top of the line models can be upwards of $1,500. Go back 10 years and I doubt you could find many, if any, computers retailing as low as we see them now. YouTube. Dab on the haters. But what if they dab back? Venezuela. At one point it was the jewel of South America, along with Argentina. It used to be the safest country on the continent, and one of the richest too, while Colombia, Peru, Chile, etc. were suffering from brutal dictatorships and drug wars. Venezuela was enjoying prosperity and peace. Nowadays, forget about it. The same Venezuelans who had the highest standard of living in South America are selling arepas on the streets of Bogota and Lima these days. If you told someone in 1990 that Venezuelans would be escaping en masse to Colombia and Peru, they would have thought you were crazy. It is really sad what is happening to Venezuela. Colombia on the other hand has bounced back quite nicely from its state about 20 years ago. I visited it a couple of months ago and I had a great time. I hope Venezuela can get back to its former glory someday. American infrastructure. Live in Ohio, every major roadway is constantly under construction, still get worse every year. I think there are road workers who start out on I-75 and retire on the same road just like old-time railroads. The movie industry. So much unoriginal crap with lots of explosions. TV on the other hand seems to be better than ever. Movies have been going to shit once corporate realize that the profit is driven by advertising campaign instead of the contents of the movie. All the good talents will flow into Netflix TV shows. TV writers have 8+ hours of content to work with rather than just 90-120 minutes. We're leaving the age of the big screen and entering the golden age of streaming. My GPA. The airport airplane riding experience. Worse in terms of luxury, but better in terms of accessibility, affordability, and safety. The white zone has always been for loading and unloading. What the hell happened? Political divide. The issue comes from the two-party system, which has an us versus them attitude which won't go away until more political parties come along, split the power and must work with each other to stay up, or then people have to stop being hardline red or blue. But that probably won't happen since the US political landscape and the support it enjoys, both on the popular and lobbying front, is so anal. I'd say voluntary segregation. I feel like so many people segregate themselves from others, then complain about why they're not accepted, formulate theories why the other group hates them even though they might not, create some weird communities because they think that the others are trying to segregate but in reality they are the ones segregating. This concerns me since from what I've seen these type of communities bunch up together and start brainwashing them. Sometimes even the people that brainwash don't even believe in the community but are taking advantage. These are the communities that terror organizations try to recruit from. Levi's jeans. Jeans in general have gotten shittier with the popularity of stretch denim. It's nice to have as an option, but everything is thin stretch denim these days, at least for women. I'm convinced my vintage Levi's from the 80s could withstand an atomic bomb. An elderly person once told me tomatoes and I believe them. Look at this loon, believing in tomatoes. Thanks to our patriotic heroes, the US defeated nature in 2032, freeing us from the oppression of vegetables and oil dependence. Oh shit, those stupid ass readings on the sat are gonna come in handy. So essentially farmers ditched the taste in favor of more sturdy and long-lasting tomatoes. The article went on to say some bullshit about flavor and smell as to why they tasted good before. Apparently heirloom tomatoes are more similar to old tomatoes. The size, reach and power of large multinational corporations over our entire lives. I for one am appreciative of our benevolent corporate overlords. This message brought to you by PepsiCo. Paychecks as long as the check cleared. You were content to blow your whiz over the weekend. Now it's all about passion, fulfillment and respect. Call me crazy but I'd rather have the cash. Job satisfaction doesn't pay my rent, has been my reply to many of the interviewers I've spoken with who tried those buzzwords on me. Can't imagine the interviewers were too happy to hear that. I'm actually frustrated how companies look for loyalty and all this bullshit, but then don't bat an eye to lay off 700+ people in a month. The Simpsons. I'm probably in the minority, but I'm glad Futurama ended when it did. Imagine if it went on for years and years and slowly decreased in quality. The Simpsons went on too long and poisoned the well. I think many would agree with you on that. I personally think it ended at the right time. Towards the end it definitely had a few episodes that were a hit or a miss, but it wasn't to the point where I only watched it because it was one. The outdated US public education system. Products selling you less for the same price. Chips have less flavoring. Food has less sauce. The Pringles have a smaller radius and a larger punt at the bottom. The juice is getting watered down. The container's shrinking. Chocolate's redesigned to save on chocolate. Ice creams are narrower and have more air foamed in. Everything is just shrinking or quality degrading enough so most people don't notice it until they're paying double for half the amount of everything. Or the taste gradually disappears. Edit. We need a website to track the offenders. Edit 2. Lots of people are saying this is because of inflation. But it usually exceeds inflation. It's just a cash grab. Whoa, you made it to the end? You're a ducking beast. I'll cut you a deal. Smash like and subscribe for more curated content, bruh. It's free and that's a great price.